Okay, this is my continuation of my critique of Akobadageth. Akobadageth again, basically the bottom line is that Akobadageth sees himself as someone who is promoting the true vision and true perception of race reality, racial perceptions. He feels that those who believe in racial equality or believe in equal capacity of ability between races are being politically correct, delusional, and simply people who do not want to face the uncomfortable truth that they are not as good, meaning non-whites are not as good as they want to be compared to whites, and will never be as good as whites as a racial group. I'm just going to assume that he would look at each black as an individual. If there was a high IQ black and it was documented that he was a high IQ black, I'm sure he's going to give him his props. He's going to have to. I'm sure he's that type of person. He has that intellectual. He has the intellectual traits, or he follows the intellectual philosophy, which he has to have that integrity. So we're going to give him props for that. We're going to assume that he's going to do that. I know I'm rambling a lot, but that's basically it, guys. Akobadageth. The reason why I want to promote Akobadageth around YouTube is not because I feel that I'm going to convince him of his views. I mean, he's going to be convinced of anti-racist views on his own time, or never. It's not going to be because I'm spewing all these facts. I mean, that is his choice. So he's in control of whether he's going to accept my debunking of his theories or not. However, he supports white supremacy in theory, and there are other people who may be on the fence, or who believe in race realism, right? Play around and or contemplating race realism, and ultimately may have ideas like Akobadageth. But anyways, Akobadageth looks at the world in terms of non-whites as these people are being angry because they're jealous. They're jealous because deep down they feel they cannot achieve what whites achieve. Why would they ban my videos? He says, why are they flagging my videos? If they're so confident in what they believe in, why are they flagging my videos? So I noticed that Akobadageth has his videos flagged a lot. So us trying to flag his videos, some of us anti-racist, although we find his attitude offensive, that just in his mind is proof that he's right. And just because most whites and most of his white race doesn't agree with him, he's not going to change his mind, because he probably believes that they've been brainwashed into, in some ways, hating themselves as a race and having sympathy or having this compassion for non-whites, the plight of non-whites, feeling that their ancestors have contributed to the plight, which in many ways they have. Let's just be honest about it. But Akobadageth needs to be promoted as an example of, I guess, where we can never, as a society, entertain going. Okay, Akobadageth is educated. He does understand many study methods. It seems like he's very knowledgeable of many areas of science, above average. But that does not mean, and that's why I continue to attack him, that does not mean that he's immune from somebody that has less expertise in science. from debunking his theory, because I don't need to debunk all these little nuances of his arguments and how he presents his arguments. There are some basic areas where I need to attack that clearly put severe harm in his arguments. So that's how Akobadageth thinks. He probably believes that there's going to be a white minority who has the scientific truth that will, build another white society on another planet. I don't know if he believes that, but he wants to believe that. So he just feels that he is the enlightened one. He's the one that's being enlightened. Meanwhile, everybody else, including his white fellows, many of his white fellows, most of his white counterparts, are being blind as sheep by the media, which he attributes this to the Jew, which he doesn't really go in depth about. I think he's being smart because he doesn't want to be seen as a lunatic. He is seen as a lunatic already, but he doesn't want to be seen as more of a lunatic. So that is how Akobadageth thinks. That's in a nutshell. What else? That's simply, that's basically it. The only thing I would say, the last thing I would say is that those people, I noticed that some white nationalists who have moderate views, have sensible views, are subscribing to his websites. I mean, Stefan Selmar, she subscribed to him. And I do understand that you feel that, you're trying to counter this anti-white perception that you see in society by seeing this warrior go out there and just bold warrior going out there and just being arrogant and saying, you know what, we are the best race out there. We did this, we did that, we helped black people, we did all these things, and everybody is attacking us and making us look like we're evil. Okay, so I can understand why I don't really understand, but I'm trying to understand, and I think I'm getting a greater understanding of why you're like that. But the bottom line is that that the guy is a kook. I mean, he's educated. There's a lot of educated people that are crazy, are insane. I mean, Akobadageth he may not be dangerously insane, but his viewpoints and his conclusions of what's going to happen is insane. It is. I mean, and you supporting these type of people will not give you, will harm your movement. Stefan, it will harm your movement. Akobadageth is, this guy is a laughing stock, and he falsely thinks that because he's educated and he has a pretty strong grasp of certain scientific concepts, that he's immune from being debunked, or immune from having a negative image of being a fucking redneck, because that's what he really is. I mean, just because he can use education, or he's knowledgeable in education, does not take away from the fact of his political and his cultural motivation behind his educated race realism. And you're right there, seeming like you support it. So that's something to think about. Have a nice day.